Today we will talk about JavaScript and packages. JavaScript itself does not really have any built-in language features offering package or namespace support, as it can be found in other famous programming languages like C# or Java. In Java, for instance, the package declaration is an actual part of the language itself, and you can do important stuff like importing certain members of packages and subsequently use it without any full qualification. Whereas JavaScript or HTML just offers the script tag, which is rather an include than an import. The only thing it basically does is to insert the script file exactly at this position in the exact order the script tags occur. This is a reason for some people blaming JavaScript to lack package support, package and namespace support. However, you can make a workaround building something pretty similar with means you have available in JavaScript, and yeah, you can build a kind of imitation that yields almost the same benefits. We will start scripting right away. A very well-known but slightly insufficient approach is to do the JSON style, where you put everything you want to encapsulate within a JavaScript object or hash. These two terms, by the way, are rather equivalent concerning JavaScript. And you can put, for example, a foo function in there doing some weird stuff. Whoopsie. Weird stuff. And this foo function can be referred to as foo. So we can consider this hash or this object as a kind of namespace. Everything we will put in it will share the same namespace. So, but why is this approach insufficient after all? Problems are coming up as soon as you want to extend this namespace. Let's say you want to add another function, bar, but in order to keep your structures clean, you want to place the bar function in a dedicated file, but it should use the same the same namespace. Let's say here we have this second.js file, and when I start doing the same things, and now we have our bar function, we will suddenly run into problems because this identifier called util is also declared here, and everything, and by specifying this again, you will simply delete everything you have already put in it, and it also depends on the exact order you include your scripts in your XHTML file, right? So this approach is not sufficient. What we originally wanted to do is to check. Oh, I'm sorry. It's my first screencast, by the way. The thing we want to check if a certain namespace exists, and if it does not exist, we want to create it, and in case that it exists, we just want to use it. So we'll start this over. Ooh. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's say we want to declare the namespace net Stefan Kolb as in our Java example, where we can do it by simply issuing this package directive. getting back. Okay, first of all, I will write down a few lines and we'll explain it after that. The first thing we're doing is declaring a variable called net with the name net. So what is this? This on first impression, this does not seem to be a good coding practice, right? We're just declaring something without initialization. But this is exactly the thing you want to do at this point, because in JavaScript, if the JavaScript encounters a variable declaration of a variable which already exists, nothing happens at all. So no values are changed, nothing, no exceptions are thrown or something like this. It's just a declaration. This is exactly what we want to do. We want to create it if it does not exist. So I'm doing this intentionally. But if it's just had been created, the value would be null. So I will create an object. Okay. Okay, the next step is so now we have the second level. We're doing the same with the Stefan Kolb part of our namespace declaration. Okay, and now at this point I can be sure that both identifiers exist, the net and subsequently the Stefan Kolb object. And now I can start putting stuff into it. For example, using this form. In JavaScript, every now and then you have different ways to express the same things. I'm so sorry. No, sorry, I'm so sorry. I'm a little bit nervous. It's my first, as I already told you. And as you might have noticed, this is my first screencast. So, okay, but this is a little bit cumbersome, right? This is not a comfortable way to do things, because after all, to refer to function foo, I still have to write. Still would have to write, and this is not a good way, because always doing full qualification will blow up your code and will wreck any readability you have, your whole code structure. So what we need now we have the namespace, but we're still looking for something like this, the import statement. And yeah, the bad thing about this is that JavaScript again has no means for that, but we can simulate it. Let's say somewhere we have a function, doesn't matter. Let's say no. Let's do it this way. Okay. Let's say we have this bar function somewhere. So, and now we want to use our namespace. We have no import statement, but we can do the following. Okay, so we will not run into any conflicts by this variable because it's private after all. So we will not run into any name conflicts, but I can use this identifier to do stuff like this, right? So it's a kind of import. I can consider this to be a kind of import statement. And additionally there's another way. The language offers a with directive. then I could invoke foo also in a shorter form, but the with statement is discouraged. I would say, from my point of view, the with statement is discouraged because you have another indentation here, and what are you doing if, when you need additional names, want to use an additional namespace, you end up doing something like this, right? And this also wrecks your code in a weird way. This is ugly. So, but after all, let's getting back to the topic. By doing so, we have the means of declaring a package, and we have our namespace. And by using this reverse URL form, as it is also used in Java and C#, it's very unlikely that you will encounter a third-party library which is using this domain you have control over. So it's very unlikely now that you will have any crashes in terms of identifiers, name collisions, or something else. So you cannot lay back and say, "Oh my goodness, JavaScript is such a bad language, it can't even be worse, and because I have no namespaces." No, that's actually not the truth. You can do it, but you have to do it in a different fashion. And of course, this is really not beautiful. So it is not a beauty to do it like this. When you compare it to this one here, this is much more precise, right? But after all, I can do it this way, and I can do it this way. Good. These are 3 lines, and the other thing are, and in Java it's 1 line. But I can also have a function. Function, and whatever, I can make a function which emulates this. It's splitting the string, giving a package name, and the name will be split by this decimal point. This decimal point, and we could also issue eval functions, and then you have got a single line. It's just something like this. And then going right. You're free to do so. I didn't do that so far because I don't know why I didn't do that, but okay. The thing I wanted to show you is that you can improve your code. You can clarify a JavaScript code. It is possible. It is not that beautiful like than doing in Java or C#. You have to admit, and they have to accept that. But after all, we can do it. And as a professional programmer, every now and then you are forced to do things in certain technologies. And for example, nowadays on the web, you're really often forced to do things in JavaScript, and it is good to know that you can rebuild stuff. Okay, that's it for today. During the next session, we will cover private scope in objects can be done with closures. Okay, thank you very much, and see you next time.